What's good, everybody? This is Jacoby Brother, aka Jacoby X, leader of the Him Movement, Having Infinite Motion and Having Infinite Motion Media Group. And today we're going to go through the process of how I edit photos. Now, there are two applications that I like to use when editing my photos, one being Lightroom and the other being Photoshop. Now, when it comes to editing photos, Lightroom is definitely my main source of to use when editing my photos, but I like to use Photoshop to help do any type of cleanups to the photos that I feel like Lightroom isn't able to get done. So let's get started. So what I like to do is I take all of my recently taken photos and upload them to their own folder on my desktop, getting them from the SD card and transferring them to that folder. Now, it really doesn't matter what you name your folder, but if you try to stay as organized as possible as me, then you might want to be specific with your name on your folder. But for today's purposes, we're just going to leave that folder as new folder. Now that I have every photo that I took of the client into this new folder, I really don't just dive right into Lightroom. I go through the folder one more time. I'm gonna look at all the specific pics that the client specifically liked, and I focus on those, getting those edited first, and those are the ones that I upload into Lightroom. Now that we have scrolled through a lot of photos to see which one we're gonna start with, this is the photo that I chose to pick to start with to edit. So we're gonna get ready to drag this to Lightroom. Now that we have our photo uploaded to Lightroom, the first thing I would like to do when I get my photos uploaded into Lightroom is create a mask. That's the first step that I take in editing my photos. I like to create a mask for my subjects. So once I click on the mask and get started on the mask, the first thing I would like to do when I'm creating my mask is to increase the noise reduction, because I want to remove all noise within the photo that's happening on with the photo, especially on our subjects. And then I reduce the grain all the way down to 0, because I don't want my photos looking grainy. Even though I'm using a wonderful camera, there's still some form of grain that is in the photo. So I want the subjects to be smooth as possible, but more realistic as well. Not too smooth where it looks animated, but smooth enough where you can just tell that it's going to be a perfect photo at the end. So this is just something to help, strengthen the perfection of the photo, so to speak. Now that we've reduced the grain and the noise reduction, as I said before, depending on the skin tones, I would go to my blacks and either raise them or lower them. And in this case, I would like to lower them for the tone of our subjects. Now that we added that first mask and we reduced the grain and we turned up the noise reduction to remove all the noise within the photo, and we lowered our blacks just a smidge because of the tone of our clients. Now I would like to create a second mask for the background. I not only create one mask for the subjects, but I also create a second mask for the background. With this second mask, I don't really do too much with this second mask. I only increase the noise reduction to remove all the noise within the photo of the background, and I remove all the grain because I don't want any, dealing with studio portraits, I don't want any type of edgy, grainy type of content within the photo, especially within the background. We want the background to be smooth and clear as possible. As you can see, by us creating that second layer on the background, by reducing the noise reduction, turning the noise reduction up where it diminishes the noise reduction, and also decreasing the grain, removing the grain from the background, it allows that brown skin to pop, that melanin to pop very greatly from when we turned down the blacks and got darker hair color and got darker skin tone, making it a more mocha brown skin color, making that skin pop in front of that brown backdrop. Now this next step is a little sauce that I go to. It's really not no sauce, but it's the sauce that I use to make my photos pop a little more as well. I then go to my presets. You have a recommended and a premium and a yours. So I start with the premium. And within my presets, the first thing I do is go down to the smooth facial skin. I go to the smooth facial skin and turn that knob all the way up. I then scroll down a little bit further, not too far. And then I go to smooth hair. I smoothen out the hair to make it smooth, make it silky like, And then I go over to enhance clothes, and I turn that up, turn that preset all the way up. As you can see from putting those final touches with the enhanced clothing and the smooth facial skin and the smooth hair, this is what we came out with as so far. So now, as you can see in the background, we have a little wrinkles in the background of the backdrop. So we're gonna take this photo, shift it to Photoshop, and correct those backgrounds and clean up any other details that we need to clean up within the photo. Now we're about to edit in Photoshop, and all we have to do to get it to send from Photoshop directly from Lightroom is right-click this photo, go down to Edit in Photoshop. Now that we have our photo in Photoshop, we're going to use Photoshop to help clean that background up with the generative AI that they have in Photoshop. So we're going to click on the lasso tool, go over here to this left tab and click on the lasso tool, and we're going to use this to highlight all the sections. It was one section of the backdrop first to get all of the wrinkles out by the backdrop. So once we highlight it, it's going to have a section where it says generative fill. We're going to click on generative fill and we're going to type in the prompt. Since we want a smooth backdrop, we're going to just type in smooth, flawless backdrop. We're going to click on generate and we wait for it to generate. And when it's done generating, it's going to give us 3 options, and we're going to choose from the best one that has a smooth backdrop and smooth, flawless backdrop that gives us the same type of tone that we need to complement the subjects within the photo and the color of the backdrop. As you can see, this is how our photo looked from before when we sent it to Lightroom. And we go over to Photoshop to see where the finished product is, and this is our product. And there you have it. That's how we edit photos. We use Lightroom to help get the main editing out the way, and also use Photoshop and its generative AI to help clean up the photo or add anything special that we like to add to the photo for our client's pleasure. So follow Jacoby Browder, aka Jacoby X, leader of the Him Movement Having Infinite Motion and Having Infinite Motion Media Group, to follow up on more updates and more content. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jacoby_X, or just type in Having Infinite Motion, or follow me on Instagram, having.infinite.motion_x_. We out.